Hi y'all, welcome back. Welcome to our video on bias in the media, ethics, funding, and the dangers of ignorance, where we'll examine how bias shapes the information we receive, why it matters ethically, and how to respond as informed citizens. Jordan Klepper once said, "I think media has bias on it. Every media has bias on it. I want every person who watches television to understand what bias is there." So, this isn't about accusing every journalist of bad intentions, but it's about recognizing that biases exist in structures, institutions, and individuals. And media bias is not exclusive to television. All media has bias. There are different levels of bias to consider. Individual bias comes from personal views, upbringing, and worldview. Media bias shows in how stories are framed, what gets covered, and what gets left out. Institutional bias reflects the culture and mission of the media organization. Structural bias is built into the system. For example, news cycles favor fast, attention-grabbing stories over slow, complex investigations. Let's bring in some ethical theory. Virtue ethics focuses on character, cultivating honesty and humility in how we process information. Utilitarianism asks about the consequences, how biased reporting impacts the greater good. Deontology emphasizes duty, our responsibility to seek and share truth without deception. No one is completely unbiased. That's simply part of being human. Our goal here isn't to achieve some impossible neutrality, but to recognize our own biases, understand those of others, and account for them in how we form opinions and make decisions. Now let's talk about the purpose of media. Most commercial media exists to make money. While some outlets are nonprofit or are publicly funded, the majority rely on advertising for funding. Higher ratings and more clicks bring in more ad revenue, and that means audience engagement often becomes more important than truth or depth. Always follow the money. Understanding who funds a media outlet can reveal a lot about why certain stories are told in certain ways. Influence can be direct through editorial control or indirect through the subtle pressure not to upset major advertisers. Here's a real example for y'all. Several American YouTubers were allegedly paid, unknowingly, by Russian state media to spread propaganda related to the war in Ukraine. This case highlights the ethical challenge of transparency. Should influencers have to verify and disclose all funding sources? It also shows how easily foreign interests can infiltrate domestic discourse. This is not a new phenomenon. During World War II, propaganda films were used to boost morale and shape public opinion. In the Cold War, both the US and the Soviet Union used media to influence global perspectives. Corporations have funded questionable science to protect their products or image. The dangers of ignorance. So when we consume media without questioning it, we open ourselves to manipulation. In a democracy, that can have serious consequences, undermining informed consent and eroding public trust. So what can we do? Check multiple sources with different perspectives before forming conclusions. Investigate who funds the outlet. And pay attention to the framing of stories and the language that is used. Is it neutral or does it push a particular emotional reaction? Media literacy isn't just an academic exercise. It's part of being a responsible citizen. We should commit to developing critical thinking habits and to approaching information with curiosity and skepticism, not cynicism. To close, I want you to reflect. Is true objectivity even possible? Should influencers have to disclose all sources of funding? And how do we balance free speech with the need to combat harmful disinformation? Alright y'all, that concludes this video. If you're interested in more videos about critical thinking and finding reliable sources of information, take a look at the videos posted on our channel. Thanks for watching and have a great day.